The NBA playoffs have been officially underway for over a week now, and we've already seen our first team get sent home, being the Miami Heat. Many more teams are on the brink of elimination and will be joining them shortly, which is a sign that the offseason is also quickly approaching. Depending on how the playoffs end up going for certain teams, this could be one of the wildest off-seasons yet, with free agency and trades, potentially shifting the entirety of the league coming on the horizon. Because of this, national media outlet Bleacher Report has published an article a few days ago proposing 4 blockbuster trades that they believe nobody has thought of yet that could be coming, and as I've done a few times on this channel in the past, we'll be going through each proposed trade and we'll be discussing how realistic of a deal it would be, along with why or why not each team would actually want to do it. The link to the article itself will be linked in the description of this video if you want to read it yourself. Before we start though, it turns out about 62% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposed trade in this article was between the Cleveland Cavaliers and New York Knicks, and in it the Knicks receive Colin Sexton and the Cavaliers receive Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. The Knicks drafted Obi Toppin expecting him to eventually be Julius Randle's replacement. However, Randle coming out and having the best season of his career this year changed those plans very quickly. Toppin struggled to get consistent minutes in the rotation this season, and in the minutes that he did receive, he was fairly inconsistent, putting up lackluster production. Additionally, Kevin Knox has pretty much been accepted by everybody within the organization as someone that has been a disappointment after being drafted in the top 10 back in 2018, so it would make sense for them to try to add him to any trade package in order to extract some value for him. The problem, however, is that I highly doubt a disappointing rookie and a player on the verge of being a bust is enough to urge the Cavaliers to give up on their best young player, who has gotten better and better every year and become more of a scoring machine like Sexton has become, regardless of draft compensation added to the offer. The Cavaliers have been rebuilding for a few years now, and they've managed to construct a very promising backcourt to lead them, and Sexton is clearly an important component in that. For them to abandon all of that just to take on 2 players who may or may not ever pan out into guys who can contribute along with a late first-round pick really doesn't make much sense. The Cavaliers would obviously decline this offer, although I think the Knicks would want to make some sort of trade along these kind of lines eventually. The next trade proposed in the article was between the San Antonio Spurs and the Indiana Pacers, and in it the Spurs received Domantas Sabonis in exchange for Lonnie Walker, Jakob Poeltl, a 2022 first-round pick that is top 10 protected, and a 2024 first-round pick that's top 3 protected. This one is far more intriguing than the last one because it's something that I could actually see happening to a certain degree. The Pacers this year found themselves on the outside of the playoffs looking in for the first time since 2015, and among the many issues they have to address, one of the most glaring was the fact that their 2 cornerstone big men just don't work well together. The team will eventually have to make a decision to keep one and try to trade the other for more value, and I agree with the idea that Sabonis should end up being that guy instead of Miles Turner. With both Turner and Sabonis on the court, the Pacers statistically got outscored by 2.3 points per 100 possessions. With just Sabonis out there without Turner on the court, they marginally improved to getting outscored by only 1.1 points per 100 possessions. However, with Turner on the court without Sabonis, the team actually outscored opponents by a massive 11.6 points per 100 possessions, which is incredibly telling. It's not that Sabonis is the problem necessarily, I think it's just that the Pacers are much more suited to play a style that Turner fits a lot better into, so looking to move Sabonis for a package like this could definitely benefit both sides. Coach Greg Popovich of the Spurs has always worked well with versatile big men like Sabonis, and the Spurs also have a plethora of young, promising guards, so Lonnie Walker, a nice backup big man, and strong draft compensation would be a pretty solid haul for Sabonis here. The next proposed trade in the article was between the New Orleans Pelicans and the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in it the Pelicans receive both Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell in exchange for Brandon Ingram, Steven Adams, Jackson Hayes, a 2021 first-round pick that's top 3 protected, and a 2024 or 2025 first-round pick as well. This one is a monster of an offer, and right off the bat, from looking at it, I really doubt a move like this would ever happen. The Timberwolves may have had a few disappointing seasons in a row now, and Towns very well may grow unhappy and eventually request a trade, but even with that being said, it's going to take one hell of an offer to make the Timberwolves front office budge on shipping him out, and this just simply is not that, especially considering D'Angelo Russell is also for some reason included too, and he's either the second or third best player on the team, depending on how good Anthony Edwards becomes next season. Sure, Brandon Ingram has all-star talent, but Towns is not only one of the best big men in the league, but he's also one of the best players in the league, and his offensive production is historically great for a center. Trust me, I understand why the Pelicans would want to pair Towns with Zion Williamson, because Towns' ability to stretch the floor at an elite level as a big man would allow him to dominate the paint even more than he already does, and the difference between Towns at center and Adams at center would be night and day for Zion Williamson's production. The reality of this situation, though, is that this would be highway robbery for the Pelicans if they pulled it off, and I'm 100% certain that the Timberwolves would hang up the phone before the Pelicans could even finish saying the offer. And finally, the last proposed trade in the article was between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Portland Trail Blazers, and in it the Clippers receive CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, Robert Covington, and a 2023 first-round pick that's top 5 protected in exchange for Paul George, Ivica Zubac, and Luke Kennard. Both teams are currently tied up in first-round series at the moment, and they both have a real chance that they could be eliminated early. If the Clippers get bounced early, they will have to do everything in their power to appease Kawhi Leonard if they don't want him to leave in free agency, and managing a haul of this caliber very well may be enough to do exactly that. Paul George may always be the scapegoat of the team, whether it's fair or not. However, he would definitely be the one to get traded of the two if things go downhill. Now for the Blazers, this is tough because McCollum has been a great running mate to Damian Lillard in the backcourt, and Nurkic and Covington are also highly valuable players in their lineup, but Paul George is still the best player in this trade. I'm really not sure the Blazers would accept this, but they would definitely at least consider it, because eventually they will have to shake things up to try to take themselves to the next level before Damian Lillard's prime ends. There's a lot going on in this trade, and I'm still leaning towards it being declined, but it's certainly intriguing at the very least. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these hypothetical trade offers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.